Hello everyone, welcome to Positivity Channel. My name is Sijia Lee. Today we will delve into the definition of good and evil and use 50 classic examples to help you understand better. We will explore how different cultures and eras view good and evil. What shapes our moral values? This is not only a theory, but also a profound thinking about human nature. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and let's explore the boundary between good and evil together now.
Joseph Stalin, 20th century Soviet Union. Good deeds, leading the Soviet Union to defeat Nazi Germany in World War II. Bad deeds, political purges that killed millions of people. Stalin lamented, "Victory is like a gamble. Sometimes you win too much and you lose too much." Anne Frank, Netherlands during World War II. Good deeds, recording protests against Jewish persecution through the diary Annie's Diary. Bad deeds, eventually dying in a Nazi concentration camp. Anne Frank said humorously, "I wrote the diary of life, but I could not escape the review of death." Jim Jones, 20th century America. Good deeds, establishing the People's Temple to provide help to disadvantaged groups. Evil deeds, planning the Jonas cult mass suicide resulting in the death of nearly 1,000 people. Jim Jones lamented, "Helping others is like walking on the road of charity, but many times you will get lost in the sea of faith." Adolf Hitler, Germany, early World War II. Good deeds, promoting Germany's economic recovery and improving people's lives. Bad deeds, launching a massacre that resulted in the death of millions of people. Hitler mocked himself and said, "For the sake of a so-called golden age, I brought the country into a dark night." Nelson Mandela, 20th century South Africa. Good deeds, leading the anti-apartheid movement and achieving a peaceful transition to democracy. Bad deeds, taking drastic measures during the political purges. Mandela said frankly, "While unlocking the imprisonment, I also learned to use the hammer of peace to forge the country." Susan B. Anthony, 19th century United States. Good deeds, leader of the feminist movement, fighting for women's rights. Bad deeds, some of his remarks and actions caused controversy at the time. Susan B. Anthony shrugged and said, "For women, I also have to learn to walk in a balanced way on the road to equality." Oskar Hildebrand, Germany, World War II. Good deeds, helping thousands of Jews escape Nazi persecution. Bad deeds, becoming a war criminal and later sentenced to death. Hildebrand lamented, "On the ship of humanity, saving people and sinking coexist." Isabella Wand, late 15th century Spain. Good deeds, supporting Columbus's voyages and exploring the New World. Bad deeds, expelling Jews and Muslims and implementing religious cleansing. Isabella lamented, "Discovering a new world is like a dream of adventure, but it also creates some disasters in front of the gate of faith." Pablo Picasso, early 20th century Spain. Good things, artistic creation has left many masterpieces to the world. Bad things, ambiguous political stance, involving the suppression of some artists. Picasso jokingly said, "While displaying my talents on canvas, I am an abstract painter when it comes to politics." Emily Pinkhurst, 19th century England. Good deeds, feminist activist, promoting women's participation in politics. Bad deeds, supporting British colonialism, affecting human rights in India. Pinkhurst said with a smile, "For the liberation of women, the flag of freedom was also planted in the deserts of some colonies." Auguste Pinochet, France, early 20th century. Good deeds, establishing French labor rights and promoting social reform. Bad deeds, implementing authoritarian methods in political struggles. Pinochet said jokingly, "For the sake of social comfort, I have to fight an open-minded battle on the political stage." Anne Ingalls, 18th century France. Good deeds, supporting the French Revolution and advocating equality and freedom. Bad deeds, taking drastic measures against opponents during the anarchist period. Ingalls said openly, "On the road to the pursuit of freedom, the war ignited some ideal flowers from time to time." Harald Hardrada, 11th century Norway. Good deeds, King of Norway, unified Northern Europe and promoted the spread of Christianity. Bad deeds, brutal persecution of pagans. Hardrada lamented, "While the country is united, it has also taken a tortuous road in the great feud of faith." Alberto Island, early 20th century Italy. Good deeds, scientist, made outstanding contributions to particle physics. Bad deeds, allying with fascism, persecuting Jews. Dow said self-deprecatingly, "In the study of the micro world, we have embarked on a wrong track in the macro history." Antonio Grande, 19th century Mexico. Good deeds, leading the Mexican independence movement and overthrowing Spanish colonial rule. Bad deeds, being too cruel to political opponents during regime change. Grande lamented, "The pursuit of independence is like a horse galloping, but sometimes it will fall into the abyss." Beatrix Castelli, France, late 15th century. Good deeds, participating in the resistance to the British invasion and being revered as a military hero. Bad deeds, taking extreme measures against infidels and implementing religious cleansing. Castelli said playfully, the horse tricks between heroes and pagans always bother people. Che Guevara, 20th century, Latin America. Good deeds, participating in the Cuban Revolution and fighting for civil rights in Latin America. Bad deeds, excessive repression in the Cuban regime. Guevara said jokingly, while fighting for freedom, he also danced a plain show on the political stage. Marie Curie, early 20th century France. Good deeds, discovered the element radium and contributed to scientific research. Bad deeds, the use of radioactive substances caused health problems. Curie said humorously, on the road to light, I also experienced a radiation love song. Halama Abdel Nasser, Egypt, 20th century. Good deeds, leading Egypt to carry out a series of social reforms. Bad deeds, implementing dictatorship and suppressing opposition. Nasser lamented, while making progress for the country, I also lost my way in the political journey. Neil Armstrong, 20th century America. Good deeds, becoming the first astronaut to land on the moon and writing a new chapter in human history. Bad deeds, indifference on the political stage and lack of social attention. Armstrong said modestly, walking on the moon is like walking on the clouds, but on Earth, the political atmosphere is a fog. Elizabeth Word, 16th century England. Good deeds, unify England and support the Renaissance. Bad deeds, brutally persecute heretics and political opponents. Elizabeth said wittily, while maintaining the glory of the royal family, it also left some glaring shadows on history. Hernán Cortés, 16th century Mexico. Good deeds, conquering the Aztec civilization and bringing wealth to Spain. Bad deeds, brutal rule over the Indians. Cortés said jokingly, discovering gold is like a treasure hunt dream, but it also loses the Indian heart in power. Abel Musa, 14th century, Marian Empire. Good deeds, promoting economic prosperity and promoting Islamic culture. Bad deeds, political cleansing in the struggle for power. Musa said profoundly, while promoting civilization, I also learned the chill of the throne. Charles Darwin, 19th century England. Good deeds, proposing the theory of evolution and promoting the development of biology. Bad deeds, provoking some scientists and causing controversy. Darwin chuckled and said, as species evolve, scientists also evolve into controversial apes. André Amapua, 16th century, Peru. Good deeds, protecting the Inca culture and resisting Spanish invasion. Evil deeds, brutal revenge on Spanish soldiers during the war. Amapua said jokingly, while defending culture, I also practice the art of revenge. Václav Havel, Czechoslovakia, 20th century. Good deeds, leading the Velvet Revolution and promoting political freedom. Bad deeds. During his time in power, policy changes caused social unrest. Javier said easily, I learned the political dance from resistance, but sometimes it can be confusing. Nikolai Kopel, 15th century Poland. Good deeds, promoting religious tolerance and promoting cultural prosperity. Evil deeds, suppressing pagans, leading to social division. Kopel said with a smile, in the garden of culture, there will also be some religious weeds that need to be dealt with. Isaac Newton, 17th century England. Good deeds, proposing the law of gravity and laying the foundation of physics. Bad deeds, attacking competitors in scientific debates. Newton jokingly said, while exploring gravity, it also caused scientific friction. Martha Geller, 19th century United States. Good deeds, women's rights advocates promoting equal rights. Bad deeds, taking extreme measures in the movement and causing social controversy. Geller said lightly, while fighting for women's rights, I also experienced some friction on the equality stage. Kavar, 13th century Persia. Good deeds, poets and advocates of humanism. Bad deeds, supporting extremism amid political turmoil. Kaval said humorously, wandering in the ocean of poetry, but also a little wet in the political swamp. Alfredo Moziat, 18th century Spain. Good deed, inventing a miracle potion that cures diseases. Bad deed, turning his competitors into monkeys, causing a medical chaos. Moziat said with a smile, while pursuing medical miracles, I also created the legend of monkey medicine. Marguerite Lava, 16th century France. Good, led a unique cultural renaissance that made France a center for the arts. Bad, mute anyone who didn't like her and undermined free speech. Lava said jokingly, in the palace of art, freedom of speech must be praised silently. Hermann Del Camp, 19th century Germany. Good deeds, inventing a device with unlimited energy. Bad deeds, using this device to threaten political opponents and causing an energy crisis. Kemp said jokingly, while creating energy miracles, we also played a game of political cheating. Elizabeth Hopkins. Early 20th century United States. Good deeds. She is a brilliant scientist who discovered a drug that can cure many diseases. Evil deeds. She used this drug against neighbors she didn't like, causing a biochemical war. Hopkins said with a smile. While fighting for health, I also seasoned some disharmonious life. Amanda Skye, 21st century Britain. Good deed. Launched a global environmental movement that saved several endangered species of plants and animals. Bad deed. Used a precious flower from her neighbor's garden for her own decoration, causing a flower war. Skye joked, while protecting the earth, we must also protect the beauty of the flowers. Oliver Bell, 19th century England. Good deed. Invented a magical plant to solve the problem of famine. Evil deed. Used this plant against business competitors, triggering a starvation war. Bell said with a smile, while creating green miracles, I also played the game of famine arena. Oscar Hofbader, Austria, late 19th century. Good deeds, reforming medicine and saving many lives. Bad deeds, curing his competitors' patients to two healthy conditions, causing chaos in the medical community. Hofbad laughed. While saving lives and healing the wounded, we must also maintain a little balance for the health of competition. Eva Rossetti, early 20th century France. Good deeds, promoting the feminist movement and fighting for equal rights for women. Bad deeds, bribing opponents with his own chocolate and sabotaging elections. Rossetti laughed. While striving for equality, we must also maintain the taste of chocolate dominance. Joseph Mendel, 19th century Austria. Good deeds, discovering the laws of inheritance and promoting the development of genetics. Evil deeds, conducting supergenetic experiments on peas in the experiment, causing a plant rebellion. Mendel joked, while studying heredity, we also let the plants dance a dance of freedom. Alan Turing, 20th century Britain. Good deed, cracking the Enigma code, helping the Allies win World War II. Bad deed, teasing colleagues with computer-generated puzzles, triggering a mathematical war. Turing said humorously, while decrypting, it also creates encryption joy for mathematicians. Rachel Wilkeson, early 21st century United States. Good deeds, leading the environmental movement and saving endangered animals and plants. Bad deeds. When greening his own garden, he secretly cut down his neighbor's trees, causing a plant war. Wilkeson joked, while protecting nature, we must also protect the green rights of our own gardens. Francis Hampson, France at the end of the 17th century. Good deeds, founded a charity school and educated hundreds of poor children. Evil deeds, hid all the desserts on campus in his office, causing a student sweet tooth uprising. Xian Shan grinned and said, while teaching and educating people, I also learned the essence of candy politics. Emilia Lucia, early 18th century, Spain. Good deeds, leading community charity activities to improve the living conditions of the poor. Evil deeds, withholding a large sum of money during a charity sale, triggering a charity storm. Lucia joked, while helping the poor, we should also pay attention to the possibility of charitable Waterloo. Alfred Goodness, late 19th century England. Good deeds, launching an anti-slavery movement and fighting for black rights. Bad deeds, imprisoning opponents in the peace prison he built, triggering a prisoner protest. He said kindly and relaxedly, while opposing injustice, I also entertained myself by setting up a peace prison. Maurice Gerard, early 20th century Germany. Good deeds, inventing an efficient clean energy source and promoting environmental protection. Bad deeds, using spoof videos to attack opponents during the election campaign, causing a political turmoil. Sprout joked, while creating clean energy, we must also engage in a Morris-style political campaign. Elena Pinov, Russia, early 21st century. Good deeds, leading the LGBTQ+ rights movement and fighting for equal rights. Bad deeds, attacking heterosexuals with vicious remarks on social media, triggering a major social discussion. Pinov joked, while striving for equality, we must also pay attention to maintaining respect for the peace debate. William Proctor, 19th century United States. Good deeds, helped free slaves in the late Civil War and promoted the abolition movement. Bad deeds, supported racial discrimination policies during the Reconstruction period, causing a series of social unrest. Proctor said easily, while liberating, I also experienced the bumpy road of Reconstruction. Bernadette Allen, 20th century Britain. Good deeds. He was a leader of the women's rights movement, fighting for women's right to vote. Bad deeds. When fighting for voting rights, he personally attacked some opponents, causing social resentment. Allen jokingly said, while pursuing equality, we have also stepped on some voting thunders. Ethan Abel, 20th century South Africa. Ihashi's good deeds. As the leader of the racial reconciliation movement, he advocated the abolition of apartheid policies and worked hard to achieve peaceful coexistence. His bad deeds. He used some extreme means in the movement, causing some social unrest. Abel said humorously, While pursuing peace, I have also walked an uneven road along the bridge of extremes. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to Positivity Channel. See you next time.